Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as we're back, pumping it in the green, up over $4,000 on the day. Also, breaking news: Singapore MP candidate Tan urges national government to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Quoting him here: "It's superior to gold. We risk getting left behind." You damn right. Also, the Tether CEO confirms 100% of his crypto portfolio is in Bitcoin. You damn straight. We'll also be discussing New York bill proposes legalizing Bitcoin and crypto for local state payments, as well as BlackRock reports $3 billion in digital asset inflows during the first quarter of this year, as well as Bitcoin reserve bills advance in New Hampshire, as well as Florida. We'll also be discussing strategies Mikey Saylor labels Bitcoin as the only path to economic immortality. Shout out all my Bitcoin immortals. Also, breaking news: White House says that the gold reserves can be used to purchase Bitcoin. That's right. And Max Kaiser claims $220,000 in play. These are the ideal conditions for the King Crypto, BTC. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this plus so much and more in today's show. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe. We're the #1 daily Bitcoin pod, hands down. Then ring the bell, turn on notifications. That way you get notified each and every day when I go live. Today is pod episode 1960. We're 40 episodes away from the epic 2000 milestone episode, which I'm looking forward to. It's been a long journey, fam. But anyways, today is April 11th, 2025. Markets lit. As you can see, pretty little bitty, up roughly $4,000 on the day. Nice little recovery after a nice correction yesterday in the markets. But let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. You should be able to see here on your screen any second now. There we go. Yeah, so pretty low bitty, up 5% on the day, maintaining above 83.8 at the time of the live stream. All the major alts pumping back in the green. Ether recovered back above 1500. XRP back above $2. And Solana up 8% on the day. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap is coming in at 2.64 trillion, back on a rise. And the Bitty market cap, 1.6 trillion, back on the rise. And 24-hour volume is just above 92.2 billion, down roughly 20% of the past 24 hours, with a Bitcoin dominance still on the climb, just shy of 63% at 62.9 today. The Ether dominance, the lowest we have seen this, I think, since forever, since I started my show. Do you guys recall the Ether dominance less than 7.1%? If so, let me know. I think we're likely to drop in the 6% range here shortly. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Onyx Coin leading the pack. Let the boys be boys. Up 50% on the day. Good Lord. AB up 32%. And the infamous Fart Coin up 26%. Let me know which alts, if any, you're bullish on for the bull. Holla at your motherfucking boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we'll get a visual perspective on the day. It's good to see everything flip back in the green, baby. Virtually everything. And zooming out on the weekly, unfortunately, I'd say 70-30 red over green. Zooming out on the monthly, we'd say maybe 65-35 red over green. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, unfortunately, we're back in extreme fear. But the silver lining, the lower that number, the more likely of a pumpy pump. And we are pumping today. Yesterday was a 39 fear, last week a 28, last month a 34 in the fear. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently on block number 891,936. We have 158,064 blocks until the next halving of 2028. But who's counting besides me? And you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,194 sats. Pick up the sats, put down the cats, pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. Let's dive into today's astrology for the broskies, aka TA. And you should be able to see my screen. Bitcoin price preparing for up-only mode as U.S. bonds suffer the worst sell-off since 2019. But I also want to point out that billionaire right here, Paulo, who is the CEO of Tether, he confirms 100% of his crypto portfolio is in Bitcoin. All the smart people are going to have all allocation, all in the bitty. So much respect to the Tether CEO. And also big news, Singapore MP candidate Tan uses urges the national government to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Quoting him here, it is superior to gold. We risk getting left behind. That's right. Adopt a biddy or forever get left behind. Simple and plain. Now, on April 11th, the benchmark U.S. 10-year Treasury yield surged above 4.59%, the highest level in the past couple of months. The 29 trillion U.S. Treasury market dropped more than 2% this week, the steepest decline since September 2019, when a liquidity crunchy crunch in the repo market forced the Fed to intervene. President POTUS, unpredictable tariff announcements and reversals have fueled the chaos. And after threatening sweeping levies on global trading partners, the Trumpster walked back many of the measures within days for certain countries, except China. And the U.S. dollar added the pressure with the strength against the basket of the top foreign currencies, as tracked by the U.S. dollar currency index we know as the DXY. As you're looking at the DXY chart here, the daily, dropping below the 100 mark for the first time since 2022. That means your dollar is a weakening. Surprise, surprise, not surprise. That further noticed or notched the worst weekly decline in over 2 years. In contrast, Bitcoin rose 4.5% amid the U.S. bond market rout, reaching around 83,250 in hopes that the weakening macroeconomic conditions will push the U.S. policy makers to act. It's on like Donkey Kong, said Arthur Hayes. Just blaze Yahtzee, mofos. We will be getting more policy response this weekend if this keeps up. We are about to enter the up-only mode for the pre-little bitty going up. Forever Laura. Furthermore, bond traders are now pricing in at least 3 rate cuts from the Fed by the end of the year. Let me know if you guys agree. With a fourth becoming increasingly likely, rate cuts have historically been bullish for the king crypto we better know as the BTC. Historically sharp drops of the U.S. dollar index preceded delayed but powerful Bitcoin bull runs, according to the crypto analyst Venture Founder, as he points out here. A fall in DXY has typically been a strong bullish signal for the bitty. He added that if the DXY continues to slide towards the 90 level, it can replicate conditions that led to the parabolic Bitcoin rallies during the final stages of the previous bull, each lasting up to a year. Are you ready? Are you prepared for a year only of up only for the pretty little bitty price action? Let me know. Additionally, Bollinger Band's creator John Bollinger offered a bullish outlook for the bitty, noting that the crypto is forming a familiar bottom at 80,000. Let me know if you agree that we just established a strong 80,000 support and the bottom is in, which we just hit a couple of days ago at 74.5. Holla at your boy and let me know. And let's pull up some of the live charts. We'll do a little live chart action, Jackson, for the broskies, of course. And again, welcome everyone joining us. Over 900 people already on the live stream. Let's blow this mofo up. Happy TGIF. 10-minute chart, again, live and in the flesh via TradingView, via Coinbase. You can see we're finally ascending slowly but surely. We do have a bear target here on the screen sitting at 73,479. Zooming out from the 10-minute. We'll kick it back to the hour, work our way backwards. Hourly chart also ascending here. You can see a big green candle we had yesterday in the market. And also we had a big green candle today and we're escalating back up. And you can also see a green target at 88 in play for the bulls. And for the bears, orange target sitting at just shy of 73.5. Do you think we'll likely continue to ascend or correct? Holla at your boy. And checking out the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart says it's going up forever, JB. Rising wedgie formation sensation. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive green candles on the 4-hour chart. Lit like a mofo. And so that's bullish. And zooming out from there, we'll take a look at a daily chart. The daily chart shows us green candle. Big bull candle formed on the day. Bull scenario, red target in play, which would take us back to price discovery just shy of $112,000. And also, yesterday was a big red corrective candle, but that was after the day before that we had a mega green candle. We almost had a God candle. In fact, the bottom on that day 2 days ago was 74.5, which is the current local bottom. And then we accelerated to like 83.5, which was like a $9,000 spread in a single day. Which is pretty amazing. And then we corrected yesterday, and the bullish momentum remains here today on a Friday, leading into Sat Stack and Saturday. And zooming out on the weekly chart says it's also going up forever, Laura. 124,000 cup and handle target in play. And we're finally green formation, but we got a couple of days into the weekly close. Hopefully we continue the bullish momentum and reclaim 90 Gs. That would be a good sign. And zooming out for the monthly, unfortunately, past couple of months have been corrective, but here we are, barely forming green for the month of April. We're not even halfway through the month. And again, this is the first month of the second quarter. Let me know if you think we'll likely continue the bullish momentum. Holla at your boy. Let's continue where we left off. Next headline reads, New York bill proposes legalizing the bitty crypto for the state payments. The fact that it's not legalized for state payments is mind-boggling, if you're to ask me, but a progress, right? The New York lawmaker introduced legislation that would allow state agencies to accept cryptocurrency payments, signaling growing political momentum for the digital asset integration in public services. Assembly Bill A7788, introduced by the Assemblyman Clyde Vannell, seeks to amend the state financial law to allow the New York state agencies to accept crypto as a form of payment. So hang in there, Serge. It would permit state agencies to accept payments in Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, according to the bill's text, as outlined right here from the Assembly. And according to the bill, state offices could authorize crypto payments for fines, civil penalties, rent, rates, taxes, fees, charges, revenue, financial obligations, or other amounts, as well as penalties, special assessments, as well as interest. Well, the IRS is going to love that one. Crypto legislation is becoming a focal point in New York with Bill A7788, marking the state's second crypto-focused legislation in little over a month. In March, New York introduced Bill A06515, aiming to establish criminal penalties to prevent crypto fraud and protect investors from the rug pulls. Good luck with that. Crypto-focused legislation has gathered momentum since President Trump took office Inauguration Day, Jan 20th, when we hit the all-time high of 109.3, with Trump signaling during his campaign that his admin intends to make crypto policy a national priority, as well as making the U.S. a global hub for the blockchain innovation. He also said at the Nashville, Tennessee event that he was going to make America the Bitcoin mining hub of the world. And you know his son's partnered with HUD 8 to turn that into fruition. And anyways, if the bill passed, it would mark a significant shift in how New York handles digital assets. It would allow the state entities to integrate crypto into the payment infrastructure used for collecting public funds. The proposal also includes a clause allowing the state to impose a service fee on those choosing to pay with crypto. Oh, great. And according to the text, the state may require a service fee not exceeding costs incurred by the state in connection with the crypto payment transaction. This could include transaction costs or fees owed to the crypto issuers. Assembly Bill A7788 has been referred to the Assembly Committee for review and may advance to the state Senate as the next step, most logically. New York's legislation comes shortly after the state of Illinois passed a crypto bill to fight fraud and rug pulls after the recent wave of insider schemes related to the meme coins. Well, the SEC already deemed that these meme coins are not illegal securities. So, for example, the Hawk2 girl got the green light. She is in no trouble for investors getting rug pulled on a multi-billion-dollar venture. But, I mean, there you have it. At least it's a step in the right direction. But New York's still lagging behind the rest of the states. But I mean, it is the financial capital of the United States. So, yeah, I mean, next headline regarding BlackRock reporting $3 billion in digital asset inflows during the first quarter of 2025. That's right, the world's largest asset manager with $11.6 trillion in assets under management, reported $84 billion in total net inflows for the first quarter of the year, marking a 3% annual growth in assets under management. That's like Nippinator marking his territory on every tree when we go for a walk. That's BlackRock for you. The firm's strong performance was led by a record first quarter for the iShares ETF, alongside continued strength of the private markets and net inflows, according to BlackRock's Q1 earnings release today, April 11th. And of the $107 billion in net inflows of the ETFs, $3 billion, roughly 2.8% of the total ETF inflows, were directed to digital asset products in the first quarter, according to the BlackRock. Alternative investments also played a significant role this first quarter, with private market inflows totaling $9.3 billion. And as of March 31st, digital assets accounted for $34 million in base fees, or less than 1% of BlackRock's long-term revenue. And by the end of the first quarter, BlackRock's total digital assets under management amounted to just above $50.3 billion, representing about 0.5% of the firm's $11.6 trillion in total assets under management. And they are the largest asset management giant in the world. BlackRock's financial results suggest digital assets still make up a modest share of the company's business. Despite that, BlackRock's $3 billion in digital asset inflows is notably given widespread liquidations at a bitty ETF market earlier in the year. The company's figures suggest investor interest in crypto-backed ETFs remains steady. Mom Spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface, Nippinator's calm and ready. Despite BlackRock's recording a 70% drop of the net inflows of the first quarter of the year compared to the previous quarter, the inflows falling from $281 billion in the fourth quarter of 2024 to $84 billion, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink pointed to the company's solid fee growth as a major indicator of success. Quoting the Finkster here, "We delivered 6% organic base fee growth of the first quarter, representing our best start to the year since 2021, and secular strength against a complex market backdrop." He also added, "The goal for us is to keep our clients focused on the long term and help them achieve any near-term allocation or liquidity changes they need within the BlackRock platform." And while BlackRock saw $3 billion of the crypto asset inflows for the first quarter of this year, some other Bitcoin ETF issuers have suffered massive outflows. Not surprise, always Grayscale leading the charge on the outflows. But there you have it. Now let's discuss the Bitcoin bills. Yeah, I mean, headline reads, Bitcoin reserve bills advance in New Hampshire and Florida. And if you missed yesterday's pod, we focused on the Florida bill. But let's dive a little deeper here, as yesterday was a significant day. New Hampshire's House and Florida's House Insurance and Banking Committee respectively advanced their bills, allowing their states to create Bitcoin reserves. So bullish for both New Hampshire and Florida. New Hampshire's House passed its Bitcoin reserve bill HB 302 in a 192 to 179 vote yesterday, which will now head to the Senate. The state is now the fourth to pass the Bitcoin reserve bill through one chamber, joining Arizona, Texas, and Oklahoma. So if HB 302 clears New Hampshire Senate and Governor Kelly signs it into law, it would allow the state's treasurer to use 10% of the state's general fund and other authorized funds to invest in the precious metals and certain digital assets. The bill also sets out how they should be custodied. The bill specifies that only cryptocurrencies with a market cap of over $500 billion would be eligible for the investment, a criteria that only Bitcoin currently meets. And in a debate prior to the vote, Democratic Representative Terry argued that the bill is unnecessary and could undermine the security of the state's digital asset stockpile. Quoting him here, "Unbeknownst to the committee and to the sponsor, the treasurer testified they already had that authority." And he added that crypto is constantly shifting and changing, and it's sort of dangerous to be kind of locked into certain types of security measures. And I think that bill does this. Meanwhile, Republican Representative Jordan Ullery countered that the bill was necessary. It can create the potential for a large amount of money being earned by the state in these investments. Preach. New Hampshire has two other blockchain-related bills working their way through legislature. HB 310, which covers stablecoins, real-world asset tokenization, and HB 639, dealing with the blockchain regulation and dispute resolution. Now, the latest with the Florida House Committee passing their Bitcoin reserve bill. Yesterday, on April 10th, Florida's House Insurance and Banking Committee passed the state's Bitcoin reserve bill, which is HB 487, with a unanimous vote. Let's go Florida. The bill has 3 committees to clear before it progresses to the Florida House. Similar to the New Hampshire bill, HB 487 would allow Florida or Floridian's chief financial officer of the State Board of Administration to invest up to 10% of the certain state funds, including General Revenue Fund and the Budget Stabilization Fund, into the preload biddy, going up forever Laura. The bill's sponsor, Republican Representative Webster Barnaby, what a great name, Webster Barnaby, pleaded with the committee before the vote to vote on this very important bill. Listen to Barnaby, which he claimed would put Florida in the leading edge with this very new technology. Barnaby knows his shit. All hail the Barnaby. Reminds me of like Barney and, I don't know, it's just a funny name, Barnaby. Remember the purple dinosaur? Anyways, Florida's bill gives the state's financial chief the ability to invest in digital assets directly through certain qualified custodians or through the exchange-traded products, the ETFs, and details security and custody requirements as well. And according to the Bitcoin laws, which tracks the progress of the digital asset legislation, Arizona is currently leading the race to become the first U.S. state to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Do you think Arizona wins that race? We also have like Utah and some other ones, in pole position right now. But on March 24th, 2 digital asset reserve bills, including SB 1373 and SB 1025, cleared the Arizona House Rules Committee and are now headed to the state house for a full vote. If passed by the House, the bills would then need the signature of the Arizona Democratic Governor, Katie Hobbs, to become law. Step up your game, Haiti, and let's make it happen, Captain. Next story, broskies. Here's the latest from the Giga Chad, the one and only Michael Saylor. Headline here reads, and I love this term, economic immortality. Saylor labels Bitcoin as the only path to the economic immortality. You want to become immortal, fam? You stack the biddy. Bitcoin evangelist, also we refer to him as the Bitcoin alchemist and founder of Strategy, is currently the executive chairman, continuing to confirm his support for the preload biddy and maintaining a bullish B-boy stance on the biddy. In a tweet he just published, Saylor named the new Bitcoin utility case a bullish but also rather abstract one. The economic path to immortality, the economic immortality. Saylor traditionally publishes AI-generated images of himself combined with various poses with a Bitcoin mascot in the form of a physical coin carrying a B with 4 vertical strokes. This time, the Strategy founder depicted as a Vatican cardinal. What do we got, a new high priest? And his tweet reads, "There is but one path to economic immortality," and here he is. There is but one path to economic immortality, and shout out to the Mikey Saylor, and shout out all my alchemists, biddy alchemists, and my immortals. The tweet comes after Bitcoin has recovered the 80,000 psychological support. The level, again, we're smashing it. Today we're up 4,000 already on the day. Nice little surge. Now for our feature story of the day. The White House says that the gold reserves can be used to purchase the Bitcoin. And remember, if it's a net neutral way of acquiring it, they're allowed to do it. Now, what if we switched our gold reserves and traded it for the preload biddy? Bitcoin's going to explode. What's the market cap of gold right now? Can someone chime in and let me know? And this is official from the White House, so I want to read it to you. This is a pretty big deal, FYI. This is what it says. All right. Bo Hines, Executive Director of President Council of Advisors of Digital Assets, suggested in an interview that the U.S. could capitalize on the gains from its gold holdings and purchase more Bitcoin. This move, according to Hines, could be a budget-neutral way to increase the country's Bitcoin reserves. Precisely. Hines referenced the Bitcoin Act of 2025 proposed by Senator Lummis, which advocates for the U.S. to acquire 1 million Bitcoin. And you know, Saylor is proposing them purchase over 5 million Bitcoin, 25% of the Bitcoin supply, which he proposed at the recent Crypto White House Summit. So Lummis says approximately 5% of the total Bitcoin supply over the span of 5 years. Saylor's saying, why so bearish? Let's do 25% of the supply, Trumpster. This acquisition would be funded through the sale of the Federal Reserve gold certificates. Even better, get rid of the fake gold. A gold certificate is nothing more than an IOU. It's a derivative. It doesn't even really exist. Do you know that there's more gold derivatives that exist in the actual underlying asset itself, which means it's the true fool's gold, or quoting Max Kaiser. Gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, the executive director of the White House Crypto Working Group, Bo Hines, talks Bitcoin, way to buy it, more of it, thinking behind, including, and also, you know, they established the digital asset stockpile separate of the strategic Bitcoin reserve, which got put in via the executive order, as you guys already know. Quote here from Trump, if we actually realize the gains on the U.S. gold holdings, that could be a budget neutral way to acquire more Bitcoin. Oh, this is according to Hines, who shared it to Trump. So you already know Trump's entire team is pro-Bitcoin, only a matter of time. There's another headline here, which was just published via Yahoo Finance. White House says gold reserves may be used to purchase Bitcoin. So this is official. They have the go-ahead because it's a net neutral way to acquire it. As long as they're not using taxpayer dollars, they have the go-ahead to do so. Also, I want to share this, exchanging gold for Bitcoin, because Saylor's been a big proponent for this as well in the president's ear. Saylor once again brought the eccentric proposal that would surely earn a lot of criticism, urging the U.S. government to swap its gold reserve for Bitcoin. And again, why not get rid of the derivatives and trade it for the hardest asset known to mankind? As a MicroStrategy executive, now obviously Strategy B, known to staunch advocate of the biddy, told the U.S. to rethink its economic strategy and shift towards the firstborn crypto, the preload biddy. In the interview with Yahoo, Saylor made the bold recommendation that the country's leadership should dispose all of its gold reserves. I couldn't agree more. So that the government can buy more of the biddy. Quoting him here, dump your gold, sell all the U.S. gold, and buy Bitcoin, because you can buy 5 million Bitcoin for the cost of the gold. 5 million Bitcoin, that's literally 25% of the circulating Bitcoin supply of 21 million that could ever be in existence. Pretty advantageous for the United States of America if they want to be that Bitcoin superpower, and there's only enough room for one country to do this as the global hash war continues. Saylor also urged the U.S. government basically didn't want them to purchase more gold for the National Reserve. Instead, just trade it for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin supporter previously noted that gold is an ineffective store of value, saying that gold is antiquated and has many vulnerabilities. That's a fact, Jack. Also quoting him here, you'll demonetize the entire gold asset class and our enemies hold gold in their banks. I mean, this is awesome. And so their assets would go to zero, while our assets go to the trillions if he actually, the government followed through with his proposal. But you guys, let me know your thoughts on that. Also, Michael Saylor calls gold the king of garbage investments for a long-term investor. I mean, it comes out of his own mouth. He said, one of the stupidest investments ultimately is gold long term. I mean, again, 10,000 years is trading at $3,200, where you have Bitcoin up 172 million% in 16 years. I mean, you figure, choose accordingly. Someone tag Peter Schiff, wellness check to the Schiffmeister's house, please. Couldn't agree more. King of garbage investments for the long term investor, gold, gold, gold. And also, Saylor says soon every billionaire will buy $1 billion of Bitcoin and the supply shock will be so motherfucking great, it'll stop measuring Bitcoin in terms of fiat. One Bitcoin will always be equivalent to one Bitcoin. That's a fact, Jack. Now for the latest from the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser. Ideal conditions for the pretty little bitty. 220,000 is in play. That's right. You see gold accelerating. You see the US dollar index deaccelerating. Game on. Bullish setup. You can't taper the Ponzi, says the high priest. The tariff rhetoric and required discipline will give way to the tired and true money printing backed by the military threats. Take the US dollar or else. Rinse and repeat. 220,000 in play. I repeat, 220,000 per pretty little bitty in play. This was off the back of the news. Breaking Trumpster just stunned the world in a jaw-dropping press conference. President Trump confirmed what many have suspected for years. The U.S. has secret weapons unlike anything. I actually watched this. He did literally say that. Unlike anything on earth, his exact words, we have weapons no one has ever heard of, more powerful than anything any country has. And it is not even close. So it makes you wonder, why do the other countries allow America to have weapons of mass destruction? Isn't that the whole thing we allegedly went to war with Iraq because, the Bushes and Cheneys were like, they got weapons of mass destruction. And they literally had no weapons of mass destruction. You know what their weapon of mass destruction was? Moving away from the dollar. And they handled that situation, didn't they? But anyways, you guys, let me know your thoughts. I'll read your comments out loud. What's your thoughts on that? And 220 in play. Holla at your boy. We call them poor. Precisely. Gold is the boomer's biddy. Gold is the poor man biddy. Sell your gold, buy some biddy. 420 gold. Yeah, man. Did I quote your BTC force? I believe in the gold. I believe in the biddy. I believe in the kings. I believe in the queens. House guest just left. Oh, thank God. That's the best time. Light it up, brother. Make sure it's like a 7-gram Blunsky and holler at your boy. 100% JV. Bitcoin will start behaving like gold soon. Will the U.S. offload their gold and trade it for the hardest asset that's impregnable, unconfiscatable? Let me know. There's a poll. Let me know. Answer the poll. 100%. Peter Schiffy goes kick rocks. We're talking about the gold for the baby. Precisely.